Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to Team Forbidden's YouTube page. It is I, Summon the Fanatic, back at you with another Digimon deck profile. I call this one Black Zwart. Omnimon Zwart came out. We've got Black Zwart Greymon and Metal Greymon Black. Let's go ahead and get into it. So first and foremost, we got our Digi-Eggs. We're running the 4 Capurimon, because you always want to see this guy. You can run the 5th one with, that gives the blocker. If you want. I generally never do that because I don't run the Mega Dramons in here, and besides, the goal of this deck is basically one punch and then either clear out their board with Alter S or set up your defenses with Zwart Defeat. So we run the 4 Capurimon because we always want to see it. Next, into the rookies. We are running 4 of arguably the best rookie in black, which is Toy Agumon, Inheritable Reboot. Reboot means that if you are suspended during your turn, during your opponent's unsuspend phase, you stand as well. So it basically makes it so they can't attack your guys. And if you have a blocker, you can just attack with your blocker, and then he unsuspends so you can block stuff during their turn. The next rookie that we run 4 of is the Promo Sunarizamon. Sunarizamon, it's in your battle area. All of your black Digimon with 13 plus attack gain piercing, meaning they're basically unblockable. I mean, they can block if they want, but you'll still get your security checks regardless. And then as an inheritable, if your Digimon has 1300 attack or more and is black, you get security attack +1. So yeah, you can basically build a stack with Black Zwart Greymon from BT5, and you can swing for all 5 securities at once. It's nuts, and I love it. Next up, we have 3 blocker Agumon. These should arguably be Chumons or Hagurumons, but it's, I mean, you see the map behind this. Agumon's my boy. So I kind of have to run him, just for the theme alone. And for our 2-drop, we're running Commandramon. Again, these should probably also be Chumons, because you should find room for Chumon in here somewhere. I just like having the 2-drops to choke my opponent out of memory. Next up, into the 4s, we run 4 copies of Greymon. If you have Reboot, you gain jamming. Really, really good. And next up, we have 4 more copies of Greymon. Just kidding. It's Black Gaugumon, which is literally the same exact card, except it's got a different picture. It's 1,000 points higher, and it's 1 cost more to hard play from your hand. Otherwise, it's exactly the same card. My philosophy with this game, if you can run 8 copies of a card in your deck, you frickin' do it. We'll get to that later with the ultimates as well, because it's the same philosophy on those. So next up, we got 4 of your 1-cost blocker, Dark Tyrannomon. He's your 1-cost blocker. Build up your stack a lot faster in the raising area, get into your megas a lot faster, get into Zwart quicker. What else can be said? Nothing else. Next up, back to the whole bit about, well, okay, this is somewhat the same card, somewhat isn't. So first, Metal Greymon. If you reboot, you gain security attack +1. I'll show you an example of a stack that you can do that basically gets you 5 checks at the end of this video. The next one, it's kind of 4 copies of the same card, but kind of not. So Black Gaugumon, it's basically similar to the Metal Greymon in that it's an ultimate with Reboot. So your backup strategy, if you don't, for whatever reason, see your megas, is you basically hard play one of these or Digivolve into one of these, and then Digivolve the corresponding Digimon on top of it. That way you've got, I mean, you guys saw the Imperial Dramon video. Basically the same concept, except these have Reboot. So you swing with jamming just like a Pyil Dramon or a Dino Beamon, and then during your opponent's unsuspend phase, they unsuspend so they can't attack them. So in that sense, it's essentially 4 copies of the same card. Metal Greymon gives you security attack +1, which I'll show you the stack at the end of the video. That'll get you 5 swings off of 1 card. Again, it's nuts. This one gives you +2k. This comes up with the other card that is part of that 5-card combo that also gets you 5 or 6 checks, and I'll show you that stack as well. And to finish up our ultimates, we got 2 Waramonzamons. I mean, 5 costs to play normally, 2 costs to Digivolve. build up to your megas really quick. Same philosophy as Zwart Greymon. You run the 2. You can run more of these if you like and cut the Metal Greymon and the Black Mat Galgamon down to 3 each. I would not recommend that. Again, these are your backup attackers. If you don't see your megas, you can sometimes squeeze games away with that. Into the megas. 2 Metal Greymon Black. Arguably, you can just change this deck to run 4 of it. And you can easily do that, but I like other stuff in this deck a lot more. But this card is really good. There's a black Metal Greymon Zwart deck that got first place. It went undefeated in a tournament recently, and everyone's talking about that. This was made before that actually happened. But I put these in because originally the Mega lineup was all Black War Greymons. It was Black War Greymon deck. And then I decided I wanted something else in there, so I tried out the Black Metal Greymon. He's so good. You either get rid of a blocker or you make your opponent shred their security stack. It's so good. Thing to note though, I don't know why, but I see a lot of people asking and talking about their opponents saying, oh, Digiburst 2, I have 4 searches, I can do that twice, right? No, you cannot do that. You can only Digiburst once when Digivolving. If it were a main effect like this guy, still one of my favorite cards of all time in the game, yeah, you could do that. But if it's when Digivolve, you only get to Digiburst the 2 on Digivolve, that's it. But, I mean, this guy, you Digiburst 2, make him active again. This guy can attack 3 times if you build the whole stack up. It's nuts, it's amazing, and I love this card so much. I originally talked this card down. This is Black War Greymon from BT5. Arguably the best version of this card in the game. Right, it's kind of neck and neck with the promo for me, because he's a 4-cost evolve, which is really stupid expensive. But he's got security attack +1 and reboot. So it's like, okay, let me just check for 2 checks. Oh, and he's an 11 cost as well, so if you have to, you can always just hard play him if you're at 1 memory or more. So, he good! Boy, good! So, into the 7s, because we actually do run a couple. I'm running 2 Omnimon Zwart and 1 Ultra S. Arguably, you can switch any of these out for Zwart Defeat. Arguably, you should switch some of these out for Zwart Defeat. Again, the blocker version of the deck that played these ran the Zwart Defeats and basically used them with the Mega Dramon inheritable under. This runs a different strategy, so we're not running that. That's the only reason those aren't here, but Zwart is so good. You Digivolve him, you meld the top 3 cards of your deck, bring back your blockers or bring back other attackers to attack with an extra. You set your board up wide and, oh, he's so good. But plus, we're running both Black War Greymon and Metal Greymon. We literally kind of have to play him. And Ultra S is Ultra S. It really helps your opponent's building a wide board. Okay, just de-Digivolve everything. Are you 5k or less? Same philosophy as Nidhoggmon, essentially. Into the Tamers, we have 2 Izzy Azumi. Was originally running Marcus and some other stuff to basically beat my opponent out of option cards, but they tended to clog. Izzy Azumi is a 4-cost tamer that can occasionally become a 3-cost tamer. Because if you check the top 3 cards of your deck and all of them are black, you gain a memory. And then he's your standard memory setter. He's easily the best black tamer in the game. And then to finish off the main deck, we have 2 copies of Final Zubagon Punch. Give me just 1 second and I will go ahead and show you the stack that lets you literally check all 5 securities at once. This is where we cut.
Yep.
And I'm going to show the alternative as well. Okay. How far up does the camera go?
Here.
to the claw. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys two different stacks. This was the theory that the deck was built around initially. So you start obviously with your Greymon egg. So the Greymon egg, for the first stack, this is the stack that checks 5 checks in one go on its own. You digivolve that into Tsunarizamon on top of there. Champion really doesn't matter, but Greymon is somewhat preferred, especially if you can't get the final Zubagon punch. On top of that, you have the Metal Greymon, and then you have the Black War Greymon. So this naturally has security attack +1, has reboot, so it gets another security attack +1 from the Metal Greymon, has jamming because it is reboot, and because he's at 13 because he is reboot because of the Tsunarizamon, he is now checking for 1, 2, 3, 4 checks. Yet a final Zubagon punch on here. This can literally just be Dark Tyrannomon because you won't care because you'll be at 16,000 with blocker and reboot, and he'll check for all 5 security if he goes through. And if you want to make sure you can't be blocked, you just drop another one of these on the field. So he'll be swinging for 15 for 5 checks. Absolutely nuts. Let's go ahead and show you the second stack. The second stack, unfortunately, does require final Zubagon punch, but the second stack does also not require the jamming as well. The jamming is just there for good fun. You start with the Greymon, obviously, because you kind of have to. That's your only egg that you're running. On top of that, you put the Toy Agumon, because the Toy Agumon is essential here. On top of the Toy Agumon, you then digivolve into Black Mat Galgamon. And then on top of Black Mat Galgamon, you play Black War Greymon. Afterwards, you final Zubagon punch, and then you go all the way up to 17,000 because, well, actually no, I lied. I think it's 16, 1, yeah, no, it's still gonna be 16 for the first couple of checks. Oh, forgot the champion there, but the champion literally doesn't matter for this one. So you go Greymon, Toy Agumon, any champion, doesn't matter at that point, Black Mat Galgamon and Black War Greymon with the final Zubagon punch. So how you do it with this one is, because he'll be at, no, he is at 17, so 11 plus 2, so he'll be at 13, and then plus another 1, so he'll be at 14. Zubagon will put him at 17, and then he'll have reboot and blocker. So what you do is you swing for the first few checks, and that'll be checking 2. Then you Digiburst, because you have reboot from final Zubagon, and you want to make sure you don't hit an ultimate flare, because that will really put your plans back, or any sort of de-digivolve card. Swing again, 2 more, make active, swing again. So this literally checks 6 cards. So absolutely nuts against security control if they start with 6 and you don't hit an option card. So guys, that's it for the Black War Greymon, or as I call it, Black Zwart deck profile. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell down below for notifications, and we will catch you guys later.